Yep, I think we are live now.
Yeah.
Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of Bad Balla, and today we are gonna discuss a very important topic, something which is like really well debated in the recent past based on the performances. Should India look beyond Rohit Sharma and Virat Kohli now? Uh, I know they've retired from T20 cricket and they are pretty much playing Test cricket and ODIs. Uh, and we can discuss each of the categories, right? We can start with the Test cricket and then sort of move towards the ODI cricket as well. Uh, yeah. So we also have, by the way, a very special guest, Rachit, who is a good friend of ours, joining us for the debate. And yeah, guys. So Suresh and Rachit, what do you feel? Your starting thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, see, the performances for both of them, at least during this 1 year, has not been great. Right? Off late, at least the performances have been really down. And with Rohit being the captain, you expect him to lead from the front. And his performances are not coming through, as a result of which we are losing the matches as well. And Kohli and his love affair with the fifth stump is it's just ongoing. I don't think it'll ever stop for some time. So yeah, it's difficult. I mean, we as fans agree that these guys are one of the greatest of the generation, and they should be given a long rope. That's true, but I think time has come where tougher questions have to be asked, and maybe we have to look. We have to look for the future, right? If they're 37, 36 respectively, I think it's time India has to look for the future. If not this series, then at least somewhere 1 year down the line. What do you think, Rachit?
Yeah, I kind of echo that, but the thing is that we are sitting at a time where three players almost in the same generation group, like Rohit, Virat, and of course Ravindra Jadeja, are the three players who are in the same age bracket, and we are possibly this is debatable, of course. They are top of the they're top on the chart. They have always been greatest in the generation. Like especially Rohit is like we've all here for discussing about Rohit and Virat specifically. But then the main question is, do we have the finest replacement for these guys? Like who are we looking at the
Mhm.
replacements for these guys?
Fair point, Rachit. I mean that's. I think we'll get down. We'll sort of try and dissect this. So just to sort of set the context. In the last 1 year, Rohit Sharma has played 13 Test matches, and his average is close to 26. Virat has played 9 Test matches. He is not there in the England series, so he's played comparatively fewer Test matches, and his average is 25. And I mean, they are the top two batters of your side. They are supposedly the top two batters of your side. And if they're not scoring, even at the say average of 35, 40, then I think there's a huge problem. Like Sulesh mentioned, with Virat Kohli, it's the problem of fifth stump, sixth stump, seventh stump, and beyond. I think it's I mean it's there for everyone to see, right? I mean, the plan is now these days very simple to Virat, right? You just keep on bowling those nagging line and lengths, and you sort of block those runs. And eventually, when he'll definitely even inevitably chase one of those deliveries and will edge to the slips, right? That's um, definitely something which all the bowlers across the world have been exploiting for the last 3 or 4 years. I mean, that's one thing. Now we always compare, say, someone like, say, Virat with someone like a Sachin, but that's where Sachin probably it was different. Back in 2004, we had his issues with the cover drives. He was able to sort of keep that shot out of his book for so long, and then made that 241 innings. But that is something which has been missing with Virat, which is really surprising for fan likes. I mean, for fans definitely. But yeah, uh, what's your thought on that? I mean, the averages speak for themselves, right?
True, true. Yeah, I mean, we have a lot of comments as well. We can quickly read through that. I think Rishabh was asking if this is the lowest point for 2000 since 2014 England series. Agree with that. I think it's the lowest point. And we also have Rishabh giving us the averages, first innings averages. Yeah, we discussed this actually, and we were planning to bring up those averages as well. And Kumar Utraj is asking about replacements. Yeah, they become replacements in time. I agree. If we don't give opportunities to those players, then they'll never come and give. They'll never have a chance, right? If you keep with the Rohits and the Kohlis of the world, I mean, if you continue to the 37, 38, 40, then when the replacements get a chance, I agree with all those points. I think the crucial part is, I think a big factor here is the captaincy as well, right? Like if you look at the stats, Virat as a captain in Test cricket, he was averaging almost 55, and when he's not a captain, he's averaging 38. So clearly, captaincy and responsibility pushes Virat, and it's exactly the opposite for Rohit. Rohit as a captain averages a measly 31, which is so unlike what Rohit as a player is. And as as just a player, he averages 47. So it's a stark difference, and I think BCCI is a big part to blame here. I mean, the whole captaincy going out of Kohli, the sudden the abruptness of that went away. I think that played a big part in the whole form dipping of Kohli, and that, I mean, that's been seen constantly in the last 4 5 years, right? He's averaged maybe around, he's not crossed a 30 average in the last 5 years, even just once, I think, last year. Otherwise, he struggled to cross even a 30 average. So that captaincy call, somebody like a Kohli thrives on that. He thrives on the pressure. He thrives on responsibility. And when that was removed from him, you can see the drastic drop in performance. So I don't know. I mean, Kohli has to pick himself up. He's no more the captain, right? And he can't continue. He won't be the captain forever as well. So it has to be a self motivation thing. So I hope he picks himself up and comes to the mantle of one of the best players we had. And I hope he comes back in form. I think it's important for India as well. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'll come back to Rachit in a bit, but just before that, if we specifically talk about Rohit, I think there's always been this debate whether Rohit is a qualified test batter or not. I mean, in the early
Mhm.
phases, he started his test career with a century against West Indies, if I'm not mistaken, right? And
Yeah.
then from there onwards till 2019, I think he's always struggled to perform in test matches.
Mm.
During when MS was the captain, he hardly got. I mean, he was always in and out in the from the side, right? Till 2014 when Virat took over. Again, he was not really consistent. So
No.
Rohit as a test batter has always been the question mark, right? And somehow a lot of things changed after 2019, 2020, and when we sort of, especially after the 21 England tour, which we did. I mean, we performed that well over there.
Correct.
I think after that, he in 21 and 23 specifically had a good record. But
Yeah.
again, Rohit, I mean, he's got the technique. I won't debate on that. But again, if you see, he's been very, very lazy, and somehow he's been age is catching up with him for sure. In T20s and one days, what he's doing, he's been really aggressive. He's taking on the bowlers from word go. He knows that he can play 30, 40 balls and change the game. In that has been working well for him in white ball cricket. But in Test cricket, you cannot do that. You have to grind it hard. You have to fight for every run, especially when you are facing the likes of Cummins and Hazelwood and Stark, right? And that is something which is not working well for him. So I'm not really hopeful about Rohit, to be very honest
Mhm.
here. And to be honest, like Rituraj mentioned, talking about the credible replacement, we do have good youngsters who are sitting in the wing, and who can. Jaiswal is there, obviously. KL Rahul and Jaiswal are a good opening partnership, a good opening combination, especially in the overseas conditions, right? And then you've got someone like Gill who's batting at 3. We'll come to Gill maybe in a bit. You've
Yeah.
got Dhruv Jurel. If Rohit is slotted to play in the middle order, you've got Dhruv Jurel. You've got, say, someone like a Devdutt Padikkal. You
Sarfaraz
have to
Khan as
give
well.
these. Sarfaraz Khan is there. Obviously, he's got his issues with short ball and
Yeah.
all, but uh, you have to give these guys a chance, right, to do something. But with Rohit at the moment looks like a walking wicket, right? I mean, he's just not there. I mean, that's the main concern for me. What do you feel about it, Rachit? Do you see any hope for when it comes to Rohit Sharma, the test batter? Do you see any hope over there?
So first of all, Shivam, I think I like totally second this thought that maybe we should be rather debating these two topics too separately. That with is India should India start looking beyond Rohit versus should India stop looking beyond Virat? I think these are two different topics because, as you mentioned, that Rohit for a very long time, and this has always been debatable about his form, whether he's a great test player or not, compared to what Virat has on his stats. Right, and also I think if I'm not mistaken, Virat had scored a century in the first Test match versus
Yeah.
Australia. If I'm not
Yeah.
wrong.
Correct.
Right.
Yeah.
So these are two separate things. But like if we talk about Rohit being compatible in this format and about his captaincy, whether he's scoring good or not, then we've also got to talk about the replacements. What are we looking at? If not Rohit Sharma, then who? And also, there's just one more thing which always strikes my mind. Do you guys think that Rohit Sharma not opening could be a possible reason why he's not able to perform in the middle order?
No, I don't think so, Rachit. I think he has been opening for the entire year. It's just in the
Yeah.
Australian series, since KL has been doing that job pretty well. He's pushed himself down the order. But more than that, I think it's about his temperament in that format of the game. And I agree. I mean, Virat is a separate issue as compared to Rohit, because with Virat, you see that there are certain things which he can work on, but he still has got the fitness in his side. He can bat long. I think was having this, a discussion with one of my friends, and he jokingly mentioned that Virat, a lot of Virat's habits have changed post Anushka's. I'm not blaming Anushka for anything, just FYI. But yeah, so maybe there are certain things which used to drive him, and he's changed a lot as a person. He has become a lot more calmer and all. But probably, who knows? We all are wired differently. Probably Virat was someone who used to thrive in those conditions when he was under the pump. When people were like left, right, center abusing him. He used to thrive on those situations. Uh, but yeah, I mean, jokes apart. But coming back to Virat, I think the fifth, sixth stump, this problem, I think, is gone for too long, and he's too good a player to sort of miss out on. I mean, to not work on that and to basically not figure out a solution to that. I mean, that's the problem statement for me. And his test average, by the way, has come down below 40 and come below 48 after I don't know, after 2013 or
Must be,
14
yeah.
maybe.
It
Yeah,
hasn't been below that, yeah.
yeah. So I mean, what's your take on that, Sulesh? I mean,
No, and that's see, it's clearly one weakness, right? And it's so easy to exploit. If you have guys like Hazelwood, Bolin, who are just known for bowling a line and length, it's such an easy thing to exploit. I mean, again, it's so easy to give such an example that why don't you play one innings where you completely forget about it? It's easy to say, but Kohli has always scored runs with the cover drive. His cover drive is his best shot, and he's just playing the same shot again. It's something. I mean, there are people who have compared his stance. Earlier, it was more of a leg stump stance. It is more of a middle stance. Now it's going more towards the leg stump, and as a result, he has to fetch for the ball right now a lot more compared to what he used to do earlier. So it could be a technique thing as well, but it's difficult, right? You cannot remove that shot for Kohli. That's the way he's wired. So I think more than him removing that shot, it's him figuring out when to play that shot and him also knowing that bowlers are bowling that line just to get him out on that drive. So maybe he should figure out what balls to face. I mean, it's easy. I mean, we can all sit here and comment on how Kohli should be better. I mean, I'm sure he knows it more better than any one of us.
obviously.
But it's frustrating. As a fan, it's very frustrating. That's what I say. I mean, especially in conditions like Australia, where he has dominated his attacks over a period of time. His average is easily more than 50-55 in Australia, and it's sad. I mean, we want really Kohli to come back strong, and like we all discussed, right? I think Kohli as a batsman, as a test batsman, it's just a matter of maybe a few innings, and I'm sure he'll come back. Unfortunately, I don't think that's the case with Rohit. I mean, I don't know what the drive is lost, or maybe their attitude, right? I mean, that attacking attitude which has come to his play a lot more in the last 1 or 2 years. It doesn't work out in Test cricket. I don't think that's the way you should play Test cricket. You need your time, like how Rahul is playing in the opening, right? You need to spend those balls. I was listening to again to Harsha Bowley today about how even Smith was giving congratulations to Hazel, to Khwaja, McSweeney, and Labuschagne. They all spent more than 50 balls each, and that helped him play easier later on. But you can't get that with Rohit. A Rohit can't spend 50 balls at the top of the innings and hope that others play well. That's not going to happen. And if
I mean,
that's
that's
not
my
there, then I
point.
don't think. Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
that's the whole point, Sulesh. If you're not,
correct.
if you're not capable enough to play out those 50,
Yeah,
60 balls, and you're opening
yeah.
the innings for India, right? Then probably you should not be in the test side. I mean, that's the whole point. And a lot of people have been, when I was discussing with a couple of folks, regarding the form of Rohit and Kohli, I think they were hardcore Rohit fans, and one of them said, okay, I mean, the others are also not scoring. Say someone like a Pant or a Gill,
Hmm.
they're also not scoring. The point over there is you cannot expect Rishabh Pant to come in and face the new ball, right?
Hmm.
He's a middle order batter. He's expected to come after 40 overs. Give him
Absolutely.
that semi new kind of ball, and
Yeah,
then he can do what he does, right? If you are sending Rishabh Pant is coming at the crease, after 10, 12 overs, and that's not the right recipe, right? You cannot blame
no,
him for
yeah,
that.
yeah.
Yeah. So,
And
but
also, I
I'll
think
just yeah.
yeah, I think I just like to make one more point. Like I think one of the member in our chat also pointed that out. Do you also think that this has got something to do with the temperament of the players? I mean, especially talking about Rohit and Virat coming out and playing in the first innings versus the second innings. Like, do they feel that kind of pressure in the second innings that at least Kohli is able to sustain more on the pitch compared to Rohit?
No, I see. I've seen the averages. I know, right? But these are professional cricketers, right? I mean, you've played your entire life, all these years, 15, 20 years, right? And I mean, there are batsmen who play well. I mean, generally, on an average, players play well in the first innings. The balls, you're more, the pitch is more harder. You can score well in the first 1 or 2 innings, and it gets difficult at third. That's across batsmen. That's a record. But I don't know. I don't think it's that sort of a mental block. I think it's more to do with the temperament of how do you play, how do you spend more time in the field. in the pitch. And I think if both of them figure that out, like you spend a 50-60 balls, don't really worry about the runs at that stage. I think they will be. It's just a matter of time. But at least for Kohli, I'm sure it's a matter of time. For Rohit, I'm not sure.
Yeah. I mean, so that's just to summarize. I mean, that would be our take before we sort of put you guys in the hot spot. Is that for Kohli? I think we still have some hope. With the fitness being on his side, and
Yeah.
the quality of Rohit, the batter as a test batter, and we all know that how Kohli loves the test cricket, right? For him, he's many times I think he's been very very vocal about that test cricket is the purest form of cricket for him. So he
Yeah.
understands the value of test cricket, and he knows how important he is as a test batter. But with Rohit, I think it's gonna be really hard. And to be very honest, if India is not making to the WTC finals, I think, irrespective of that, I think this tour is gonna be the last one for Rohit. If we are making the final, then I think he'll play the final, and probably South Africa is gonna be the opponent. And I think we can even win the game by defeating, because as we know that South Africa have got their own problem. But that doesn't change anything. I think in the fresh cycle, I think we should definitely move on from Rohit. With Kohli, I think we still have some hope, but I think we'll have to see on that. Right. So, Rachit, I'll put you on the hot spot. So I think we have that consensus that we should definitely uh, probably move on from Rohit. After this series, who would be your pick to sort of a couple of names which come to your mind? Who would be ideal to replace Rohit? Assuming that he would be batting somewhere in the middle of the order, middle order.
Well, I was actually looking at few youngsters like who could possibly replace Rohit right before this stream, and I figured out that Ruturaj has quite a decent statistics in first class, and I believe Ruturaj could be a perfect replacement for Rohit Sharma. At least given certain chances, he would be able to certainly prove himself in the Test cricket, which so far he hasn't got much chances. The other name which comes to my mind is Abhimanyu Ishwaran. So I've heard like a lot of about this youngster. I mean, like I haven't really looked into stats, like what kind of stats, but I have heard about him in a lot of newspapers, and from Harsha also. I think I recently heard from Harsha that he could be potentially a great player in the middle order batting. So these are the two names which I could possibly think who could be replacing Rohit Sharma in the middle order. There are
I think
like
I
few
think
other
that's
names also like Jorel and all, but like this is my personal opinion that I would not like Jorel to be replacing Rohit Sharma.
understood. And that's a fair point. But I think with Rituraj, I think he's played most of the games at top of the order. Uh, uh, I think Rituraj is making a very interesting point here. What is the role of our batting coaches? If you know Kohli can be given some time, but what about our batting coaches? I think that's a fair point. I think that's a frustration which we all share. Like we saw with Steve Smith. He made subtle changes in between the first test and the Adelaide test, and even in the Brisbane test, uh, where he was sort of able to make that impact, and he was able to make those subtle changes. I think we expect the same with Kohli as well, because I think both of them are pretty much similar in terms of class, and the way they've lined up. Both of them are in the fag end of their career, and it's not that easy for them to make those changes. But Smith has done that, so I think it might be a booster or a motivator for someone like a Kohli to sort of do that for himself. What's your take on that, Suresh?
No, yeah, I mean, see, it's difficult, right? I mean, guys like Abhishek Nair, I think he's the coach right now, batting coach. And before that, you had Vikram Rathore. These are guys who don't really have a great record in international cricket. And when they come and tell Kohli, who's one of the greatest of all time, that you know what, you work on this technique, it's difficult. But again, that's the role they have been hired for, right? You have to tell those hard things. You have to tell this batsman that look, bowlers have figured out a weakness in you. You have to make those changes. So I hope the batting coaches are watching, and I'm sure they are. And I hope they give him the right feedback to Kohli. They have to work on those those what do you call technical loopholes. And you're right. I mean, the questions have to be asked about support staff. Same thing with Morny Morkel and the length Indians have bowled. I mean, Morkel he's been a coach for so long, right? He knows the lengths in Australia, but I'm surprised the bowlers have been bowling that horrible length. So yeah, I mean, these questions have to be asked of Gautam Gambhir, of the support staff as well, for sure, of the performance of both Rohit and Kohli. Yeah.
I think this reminded me of Ravi Shastri. When Rishabh Pant was getting out in a similar fashion, and he said Pant that okay, हर बार ऐसा आउट होता है, एक बार रिवर्स स्वीप मार के आउट हो ना. So I mean, he as a coach had an impact, right? He figured
Yeah.
out the way, what is the right way. Again, someone like an Abhishek Nair cannot just go and tell Kohli, okay, you are doing it wrong. There has to be a way. There has to be a method to that. And if the board feels that Abhishek Nair is equipped enough to sort of guide our
Yeah.
top batters, then uh, I think I'll go by that, and they have to figure out a way in short. Yeah.
No, and see, I think the Rohit question here is a big factor about the captaincy. See, if you had asked me this question about should Rohit be in the team, say a year back, I would say yes, he is the captain, right? He has to be in the team. But I think with Bumrah playing so well as a captain in the first test, that captaincy question also is not. I mean, we have to look beyond Rohit as a captain as well. So that just you can't just have him as a captain anymore, is what I feel.
I mean, Rohit's captaincy were abysmal, man. I mean,
Yeah.
there was no plan. I think I'm a big MS fan. You all know that, right? I'm a
Yeah.
big MS Dhoni fan, but I know that MS Dhoni was not the same captain he was in ODI and he was in the Test cricket, right? There was a lot
Yeah.
of difference. And he was a very defensive sort of captain. And to
Correct.
be very fair on him, they were. I mean, India did not have too many good options in terms of bowling to take. Though he did not have the confidence that our bowlers will be able to take 20 wickets, right, on a regular basis. So that was the problem. But now our attack is well equipped, right? We have got
Yeah.
the bowlers who can do the job for us, who can take the 20 wickets regularly in a test match. And now with those set of bowlers, I mean, Rohit is like really laid back, and you cannot be waiting for a new ball after 50 overs, right? You have still
Mm.
got 25, 30 overs to go. And that's what we saw in this Brisbane test, when Head and Smith were smashing our bowlers all over the park. Rohit had no clue what to do. I mean, you got to be defensive at some point of time, but there has to be a method to that, right? There was no plan, nothing. And I mean that was really horrible. I haven't seen that level of that level of captaincy in a long time, at least with India. I mean, we've got used to some aggressive captaincy from Kohli, but even with Dhoni, I think he had some method. I mean, it used to work out, not work out, that's a
Yeah.
different thing. But I think with Rohit, there was nothing. He was looking clueless. He was looking really flat, and that showed on the ballers as well.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, I think it's time we look beyond Rohit as a captain for sure. And Bumrah showed his mettle in the first test. I mean, winning a test outside Australia and usually winning the first test, right? Something which we don't do that often. So, and he's led the bowling attack as well. And he's been one of the best performer for us in this tour, hands down. So we have a ready stand-in for the captain. And just for that topic, I don't think we should be keeping Rohit in the squad for the captaincy alone. So yeah, I mean, all the more reasons to look beyond Rohit as a player for sure.
Yeah. I think Rituraj is pretty vocal about that phase as well. 50 to 80 over phase when Rohit was
Yeah.
sort of waiting for the new ball and for the things to happen, which is not the right way. Cool guys. I think we've got an interesting day tomorrow. Thankfully, Bumrah the bowler and the Bumrah the batter and Akashdeep sort of came to the party, and they ensured that we at least managed to avoid the follow on. And so at least I think I'm expecting us to draw this one and
Yeah.
uh, go on to the Boxing Day Test match at 1-1, which essentially is not a bad score,
Yeah.
provided. But India definitely need to pull up their socks and do do have need to get this batting lineup sorted before the next test for sure. Uh, I mean,
More than our
any
current
closing
batters, and
thoughts?
yeah, I
Yeah,
think more
please.
than our batters or bowlers, I am praying rains and the gods to actually help us draw
I
this.
think for me, the man of the match in this one is Rain, obviously, and then after
Yeah,
that
yeah,
we can
Yeah,
probably give some credit to Bumrah and Akashdeep for saving the wishes. Any
correct.
any closing remarks, Rachit and Sulesh?
No, I mean, I'm looking. I think the series is well poised. Hopefully, we draw tomorrow. I don't think. I want Australia to declare in such a way that they give some hope to India. That's how the way should test match should go, right? Say a 300, 350 chase in a 50, 60 overs. So that India think they can go for it. I want that scenario. But I think if we get a draw, we are happy. And it's places well for Melbourne and Sydney. Two pitches, I think, where we'll perform well. So fingers crossed. I think we should come back strong in the Border Glasgow series. Yeah.
yeah.
Yep.
Even I think that it's mostly going to be a draw. Like the scenario which Sulesh mentioned could be interesting for the viewers, certainly, but it's a plain draw. I don't see any hope in this match, and
Yeah,
we are
yeah.
all happy with that.
But I think we never know. I think whether we'll also play smart. So even I
Yeah.
am rooting for a draw. But thankfully to Akashdeep and Bumrah for that miraculous partnership. Otherwise, we would have been definitely staring
Certainly.
a defeat. For sure. Uh, Thank you so much, guys. I think this was really fun. Thank you so much, guys, on the comment box, Rituraj, Nishant, and everyone, Rishabh. Uh, and I think we'll sort of come back next week. And before that, I think we'll do a post match session tomorrow
Right.
to sort of dig deeper in the uh, in the game, and maybe what could be the plan for the next one. But we do definitely hope that Kohli is able to sort of find his mojo back, and that's going to be really critical for the next two test
Yeah.
matches. Yeah. Thank you so
Great.
much, guys. Thank you.
See you.
Cheers.
Thank you all. Bye.